Hello, 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 and welcome to Aggie Talk, Zoom edition once again. Still in this pandemic, even though we're past a year now of not being able to go to the KDVS studios. I'm here with a nice cast of characters. Got Patrick, Michael, Josh, and Omar and Bob. Welcoming Josh to his first show of Aggie Talk, so that'll be exciting.
What's up, you guys?
Yeah. So I think with this episode, we're gonna be focusing mainly on the NBA regular season, the NBA postseason rather, as the regular season just finished today. But we'll also have a couple of smaller discussions, I'd say, on the NFL schedule release, and then how the baseball season is going in its early portion.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So I don't know, Patrick, you seem pretty excited about that NFL schedule drop. You want to start us off on any matchups you're looking forward to for your Pittsburgh Steelers?
If I have to pick a matchup that I'm looking forward to the most, but this one could change depending on what happens with the quarterback situation. But it's Week 4, Steelers Packers. I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers fan, and I love watching Aaron Rodgers, and I love watching the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, and usually when they play, it's always a good one. So maybe it could even be a great game without Aaron Rodgers. I mean, last time the Steelers played the Packers, it was Brett Hundley, and that was a great game. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but it did come down to like a game-winning field goal. But my hope is that I could see Aaron Rodgers and Ben Roethlisberger maybe or the corpse of Ben Roethlisberger, however you want to phrase it, go at it one more time, and maybe just hopefully he's still a Packer, or else this would probably change. But that's probably the game I'm looking forward to the most on the Steelers schedule.
Yeah, it should be an exciting game. You could be seeing some Jordan Love maybe, depending on whether or not Aaron Rodgers gets that trade he's requested.
I think so.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Do you guys think he's headed anywhere in particular? I've been hearing a lot of Denver and Las Vegas, but I don't know. Any more news on that front?
I heard Las Vegas because they're happy with Derek Carr, but if they can get someone of Rodgers' caliber, it would change Las Vegas altogether.
I still probably lean towards Denver if he's going anywhere. Like, I just think that cast of weapons, I don't think I think that what Denver has with Judy, Cortland Sutton, Noah Fant, and KJ Hamler, who, again, he would have a great rookie year, but he has got a ton of potential. I think that would be such a good supporting cast for him to have. Maybe, who knows, he even could have Devontae Adams come with him, because I do believe Devontae Adams kind of said, like, that he would reconsider his future as a Packer if Rodgers was traded. So, that's also something you might want to look out for.
I think in terms of talent, Denver's probably the best place Aaron Rodgers can end up. I would want to say, aside from maybe a running back, it'd be the most talent he's had on an offense in, I don't know, since maybe the Super Bowl year. But yeah, no, they definitely, I think that'd be the best fit. And then also, like I remember, I think I mentioned last time, if you're like a team like the Broncos and you say, do I want to give up these future assets? If you've proven that you can't choose a future franchise quarterback, why not just go all in on Aaron Rodgers and just, roll the dice like you did with Peyton Manning?
That's what I was going to say. John Elway did the same thing with Peyton Manning. If you can do it with both of them, then that's kind of legendary GM status, even though you can't develop an actual quarterback. You can't.
Y'all got me leaning Denver now.
You also said no running back, Omar, but I think that's disrespectful to my guy Javonte Williams, who went to them in the second round.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that. No, for some reason I was thinking of Melvin Gordon like that. I just thought, because I think Philip Lindsay, I believe, left. So I was just like, I don't really know who they have a running back aside from Melvin Gordon, but I forgot they drafted him.
Yeah, Patrick's been on that Javonte Williams train for a while now, so excited to see how that plays out this year. Just for me as a Giants fan, I think the rematch against the Bucs, Week 4, we actually played them pretty well last year. It was a pretty close game, and you got the Super Bowl champs coming up into town. I think it'll be an exciting game for the Giants. Hopefully they'll have a winning record at that point. They used to always start off 0-2 or 1-3 because they'd play the Cowboys or another division rival and a good teams early on in the year. But they've got a pretty relatively easy schedule. We'll see how that holds, because I think they're playing the Broncos early, and if they get Aaron Rodgers, well, that might be a different story. But yeah, Giants Bucks I think will be a good game. Get to see Kenny Golladay going up against that nice Bucks defense. See if he can get any big plays. Maybe Danny Dimes has a couple of scampers. Instead of falling down in front of the end zone, he might actually cross it this time. We'll see.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think a game that I'm really looking forward to. I mean, aside from the obvious, Cowboys Buccaneers, with Dak Prescott showing the world he's going to be the MVP this year. I think I definitely am looking forward to Chiefs Cowboys. I think that's going to be, that game is in late November, so by then we'll pretty much know who's who, or like where the teams stand. So I think it's going to be like an intriguing game. Like if everything holds and the Cowboys, everyone stays relatively healthier than last year, I think it's going to be a good game, and I'm just really looking forward, because I think this is the first time the Cowboys play the Chiefs with Mahomes. So, and they only play once every 4 years, so it's a really interesting matchup, and I always look forward to these.
That's a tough draw for the Cowboys, and it's a tough schedule. They're playing both conference champions, so if they drew the AFC West, they have to play. Maybe Denver with Aaron Rodgers. We'll see. But
the schedule, the Cowboys schedule is really rough. But I think, like I said, if everyone stays pretty healthy, I think they'll be fine. I just thought last year they had really terrible luck when it came to everyone getting hurt at one certain point, and then the defense was awful. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I think if they're what I think they're going to be, I think they'll be fine, and I think they're going to win the NFC East too.
As long as generational quarterback Dak Prescott can stay healthy, the sky's the limit. It's a dynasty in the making. With the talent like Dak, it doesn't really matter the pieces around him. It's just about him staying healthy.
Yeah,
it's almost a guaranteed Super Bowl for Omar with that.
Yeah, no, honestly, just place your bets at this point. I think you're on the right track, Will. I really appreciate that comment. That was great.
I'll remember this when the hashtag fire Mike McCarthy starts at week 5.
Oh, yeah. 1 and 4 start. Ouch,
1 and 4 start. You heard it here first.
That's right.
Any other NFL stuff you guys want to get to?
I think the game I'm looking forward to not pick the Buccaneers like everyone else did. I'll pick Baltimore week 17. I feel like that'll probably have playoff implications for both teams. So it's a good matchup. I don't think we've played Baltimore since Lamar Jackson's got there. So first time they match up.
You may have put this out of your memory for that Monday Night Football game.
Oh, you're right. We did. You're right.
I wouldn't want to remember.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, no, it's gone.
Yeah, that was a rough game.
I think. Oh, go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I thankfully the Texans did not pull playing the Buccaneers this year. Thankfully. One game I'm looking forward to is they come into the Niners week 16. And so I'll be going to that game.
Oh, that'll be a good one.
I think when looking at in terms of not one particular game, but one particular stretch, that I guess the NFL set it up in a way that they think the NFC East is going to come down to these teams. You got the Cowboys playing Washington on December 12th. Then the next week they play the Giants, and then the week after that they play Washington again. So that's going to be crucial if things hold up to what everyone thinks that it's going to be between the Giants, Washington, and the Cowboys. It's going to be a huge week. There's going to be a huge couple weeks for the NFC East.
Yeah, I feel like the past couple of years there's just been no separation between the NFC East, and it's just a bunch of mediocre teams battling with each other, trying to win the division and get in the playoffs. So hopefully we can have a legit division champion this year that makes some noise.
I'm really sad that we didn't get all 4 NFC East teams again, or whatever we got last year. That really helped out our schedule.
Alrighty. If that's all we want to talk about for football, y'all trying to talk some early season baseball. I know Bob's excited about his San Francisco Giants.
Yes, sir.
Currently on top of the division, I believe.
Yeah, 2 games in front of Omar's Dodgers. Only a half game in front of the Padres right now. Yeah, they just had a tough stretch. They just nice picture change, Omar. Yeah, Giants just had a tough 4-game split in Pittsburgh, which was kind of disappointing. Kevin Gausman threw 8 one-hit innings, I believe, and then got away from them the 9th. That was day before yesterday. That was tough. But yeah, they're better than anybody expected. I think they're 24-16, right at 600 right now. The bullpen's been shaky, but the rotation's been absolutely lights out. Best in baseball, probably. And it's really masked the fact the offense is only in 223 as a team, I believe. And we're still in first place. It's really exciting. We'll see how long we can keep it up, but it's been a really good start.
Yeah, I think in terms of baseball, I mean, if you guys seen, I saw this list earlier today, but I mean, Corey Seager's going to be out another 4 to 6 weeks. The Dodgers have had some really bad luck when it comes to injuries. If you look at the injury list so far this year, the list is really, really long. So, I mean, the moment you got Albert Pujols in for depth, I think that kind of tells you how it's going. So, I mean, even then, they're only still 2 games back in the division. So if they can keep it somewhat close and get pretty healthy around July, August, Bellinger's not back yet, but around July, August, if they can get pretty healthy, I think they can. If they stay in the area, I think they'll definitely be fine. It's just the Dodgers are not had the greatest of luck when it comes to injuries.
I guess I'll be the representative for the Padres today since we didn't get Ryan. Okay, so the Padres, I believe they, in their last 6, without Fernando Tatis Jr. and some other players like Will Myers also going on the IL because of COVID, they still managed to go 5-1, including a sweep over, I believe, the Cardinals. They had the best record in the National League, and they just swept them today. So they've been finding ways to get wins, and I don't know if their bullpen still leads the league in ERA, but the fact they were able to do that without their star player and some other key players on their roster, and they went in there and beat the Cardinals, I'm starting to lean towards the Padres running away with that division maybe.
I'll wait for their eventual flame out by the end of the year, so I'll be prepared for that. But yeah, I mean, I think baseball's I think baseball's pretty good right now overall. I think there's a lot of interesting teams, especially when you look at sorry to bring it up, Miles, but your Mets, they don't I don't know. They're one of those teams that I think, they're in first, but they haven't really pulled themselves away the way that I thought they were. So I don't know what you think about that.
No, the offense has been pretty despicable. I think Lindor is still hitting in the 100s, but the pitching has been really good. I mean, Taijuan Walker, Marcus Stroman, and Jacob deGrom have all pitched really well this year to start. The bullpen's still having some issues, but I think I'm pretty encouraged that we have the record we have right now with how horrible our offense has been. I mean, I'm also waiting for the inevitability of the Mets getting injured like crazy at some point in the season. So I would hope we could build a cushion while most of our guys are healthy. But I think Nemo's out and DeGrom has had some time out too. So it's been I'd say about an average season so far, which is good for the Mets because usually they start off either super hot or super cold, and everyone's always getting crazy about the Mets. But now I think, hey, let's just lay low, try to stay around 500 until maybe we get Syndergaard back in June, and then who knows after that. If the main man Francisco Lindor can start hitting dingers again, maybe our offense will finally wake up.
Quick question, Miles, about the Mets. Was it a rat or a raccoon?
I have no idea what that story was. I feel like they just got in a fight and were lying about it, right? That's basically what everyone who seems to know what happened thinks. So it was a pretty weird situation, but they seem like McNeil and Lindor seem like they're fine after it. So I guess it was a rat because it's New York. You got the rats infesting New York all the time.
I think the NL East is kind of looking like the NFC East right now. You got a bunch of teams that are at 500 or like barely above or like below. I mean, when you look at it, the Mets are in first, right? They're 18 and 16, but the Nationals are in last and they're only 3 games back. So it's just like they're all right there. Like, so I think if the Braves can figure it out, because the Braves being this bad is kind of surprising to me, because they've been like, they were one of the teams that I thought maybe could have taken another step this year, you know, especially after blowing that 3-1 lead to the eventual champions, the greatest World Series champions of the last generations, winning the hardest World Series ever. But yeah, I think I was pretty surprised that they're as bad as they are. But again, you know, we've seen teams go on those runs during the summer that kind of changes everything. But yeah, I think there's definitely been a couple of shocks, like with, you know, teams being not as good or teams being better than I expected.
On to teams that are playing as expected. The Angels are just doing exactly what I said they would end up doing. And they're now 4th in the AL West, only beating out the Rangers by half a game. So we're doing really well, you know. I think I just looked at the pitching numbers, and I don't think any starters under 4 right now for ERA. And Hunter Strickland just got traded to us, so maybe our bullpen might have a capable. I'm losing optimism.
Dude, Hunter is a legend.
Yeah, Hunter. I mean, it'll help because literally we have one guy. I think Chris Rodriguez is like the only guy out of the pen that I kind of trust. And then you got Rendon coming back from IR, I think yesterday or today. So he's only played 18 games. So we'll see. He gets some rhythm back. Because right now we only got like 3 bats that have any danger: Shohei, Jared Walsh, and Trout. And the rest are all just terrible. So, you know, maybe we make a little run here over the summer, but we're doing exactly as bad as I thought we were going to do. So,
Man, this is like
Shohei walk off.
Go for it, Bet.
I was just say you had that Shohei home today for the walk off.
yeah, but this month of May has been absolutely horrible. Like, I think we've won 1 series, and it's against the Dodgers. And then, like, everything else, I think we got swept by the Rays. I think we've, like, taken 1 from the Sox and 1 from the Houston, and, like, that's about it.
Yeah, man, this year, honestly, like, I really like watching Otani and Trout, and I was really hoping that like somehow, some way, the Angels can like at least sneak into the postseason or even just a wild card game. Like, I just want to see Mike Trout and Otani in the, you know, in like just in the playoff game. But man, their pitching is it's so bad. Like it's
so bad.
really bad. So it's just like I if they can. I don't know. I mean, they're paying Albert Pujols $30 million this year to not play for them, so I think that's not really a smart investment. So hopefully, after this year, when he's off the books, maybe they can make a run. Or maybe
It was never about the money, though. Like, we have the money and an owner willing to pay money. It's just we haven't been able to lure any of the big free agent signings at pitcher. We couldn't get Bauer this year. We couldn't get Garrett Cole last year. So we had to sell for guys like Dylan Bundy, who's like, okay, but for most teams, he should be like the 4th starter, not the 1st, you know, and that's just the reality.
Yeah, I think like, for example, like the Rendon signing, obviously he's a really good player, but I would have rather just gone all in for a pitcher, you know, like it's I think the Angels' problem has been pitcher for the last couple of years. I think who was their last like, you know, pitcher that you saw and you was like, oh, you know, the Angels, man, I don't want to play the Angels when he's pitching or something like that.
It's been like a decade, and it was Jared Weaver. Yeah, that was it. That's literally the only pitcher from my childhood who I can recall being like, man, we got to go watch a Jared Weaver game because he's gonna dominate. And yeah.
I watched Jared Weaver pitch for the Cal State Long Beach Dirtbags when I was a little kid. That's how long it's been for the Angels. That's brutal. Artie Moreno has no idea what he's doing. It's really embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, they just keep going cheap. Like, at least have a good bullpen. We don't even have a good bullpen.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't Francisco Rodriguez win the Cy Young for them as their closer? Or is that incorrect? Like 2008.
I mean, he could have.
Obviously, again, that's forever ago. That's like.
But yeah, either way, it's been a decade since you had any good pitching.
Yeah. So any more baseball stuff we want to talk about before we get to the main course?
I'm
Yeah, I think.
I'm just looking forward to the Giants and Dodgers playing this weekend for the first time this season. It's pretty late into the season for it to be the first time, but it's gonna be three games at Oracle Park this weekend, the next weekend, and then the weekend after that, 4 more in LA. And I think it's gonna be Alex Wood going Friday night, who's 5-0, 175 ERA after today. Former Dodger.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that Alex Wood has been really good. I hated to see him go, but I think like when you look at like before the season and you look at who the Dodgers had as a pitching staff, you're like, there's really no place for Alex Wood to like sneak into the rotation because you had Kershaw, Buehler, Bauer, all of them. But like obviously in hindsight, right now he would have been a great arm to have with all the injuries, but. I mean, I hate to see him like dominate with the Giants, but he was always like a pretty cool player. So I'm actually like, I don't hate it. Even though it is a rival, I don't hate it. I think he's really good, and I think him being able to recover that like 2017 form when he was like a Cy Young candidate, I think it's pretty cool to see.
You think the Giants will be buyers at the trade deadline, Bob?
If they keep this up, there's no reason to think they won't be. Yeah, I think Farhan Zaidi has made Alex Wood look. It's been like a genius signing. He's made Kevin Gausman has like turned a corner in his career. It really looks like now he's like a legit number 1 starter. And Anthony Desclafani also really just off the scrap heap has been really good as well. So yeah, Farhan's his GM moves really since he got there, he's made a lot of like unpopular moves with the fan base. Like signing Kapler as the manager and not re-signing Bumgarner. And so far, they've all been right. The team is 600 in 40 games.
I remember the outrage when the Gabe Kapler was the.
I didn't even like it. I thought that was a bad take, but he's doing a decent job, I'd say.
Yeah, he's not doing bad. I think switching over to the AL, I don't know if last year I just didn't think this would happen or what was going on if they were injured. But the Red Sox being as good as they are, I don't know if I really expected that.
Yeah, me either.
Like, because last year,
I don't think anyone did.
Yeah, like they've been. It's so surprising. Like they've been pretty good, and I'm just like, can they keep it up the whole year? Maybe, but they've been pretty good, and it's always cool.
Like Nate Eovaldi is like their opening day starter. I think it's crazy. They have good offense, but the pitching, it really isn't even that good. They've overcame it.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see, maybe if there'll be like a buyer maybe at the deadline, but I'm not too sure because they do need some more arms.
Josh, do you think your Yankees could probably like catch up to the Red Sox? Do you think they could maybe take the hold of this division?
Yeah, we're only 2 games back, and this weekend we won 2 against Baltimore. So, I mean, I think we're right behind them. Give us this week, and I'll say we could possibly be in first. I don't know who the Red Sox got coming up, but it's a possibility.
The Rays, though, I feel like they're not as good as last year, but they're dangerous. That's just such a tough division. And the Rays are 4th right now, and I'd say they're a playoff team. So that is just an insanely tough division.
I think they're a playoff team too, but I think that Blake Snell trade to San Diego was not a smart move. Like he was just too good. They didn't get enough back for him. I think they lost a lot in that trade.
Yeah, obviously that was a mistake, but I think they overcame that so far. I think losing an arm like that, and especially because Snell's just been okay. I guess it doesn't hurt as much.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think the Rays mindset is just like replenish always, right? And don't let anyone leave for free. Like they're always trying to make sure the assets they have can be maximized. So like while that trade might not have been perfect, I think unlike some other organizations, they're at least a lot more forward thinking. So they, that's kind of the reason why I think they're set up pretty well for the future. But time will tell. I mean, who knows? Blake Snell could find his form from last October, and all of a sudden they look like buffoons for letting him go.
Yeah, great October form. Thank you, Kevin Cash, for taking him out. But yeah, I think the AL East is always one of those divisions where it's like there's always like those teams around. I don't know how the Rays do it. Like I don't know what kind of deal they have with like scouts, or they just have like the best scouts ever. But can you imagine if like the Rays had money? Like they'd probably be the best team in Major League Baseball. But I also think that like them being cheap is kind of what like guides them to being like this. But I mean, they're always in contention, and that's going to be an interesting race to follow because I don't know if the Red Sox can hold it for the whole year.
And that's what I'm saying. I think the Yankees, with just being 2 games back, you're right. The Rays are right behind them, but Rays have Baltimore coming in, and Baltimore could take one of those, maybe 2, and then Rays are back down. And if, as long as the Yankees pull out this week, I think we could jump into that number 1 spot pretty soon here.
And I think the Yankees have had some like compared to other years, all right luck when it comes to injuries. Aaron Judge has been fine. He hasn't missed his extended period of time like
Thankfully.
Yeah, so I mean, Stanton's out, but still, like I think they've been pretty. They've been especially Judge and Stanton. They're always hurt. So it's a good sign that so far they've been doing all right with that.
Stanton will be back soon enough. Aaron Judge being back and hitting that homer the other night for us to tie it up. It was a great feeling just to see him at bat again. But Stanton does stay injured, and because of that, Aaron Judge has to step up more often, which, because he's putting wear and tear on his body, it's time that he's going to miss. So it's kind of like a dual tandem thing. We've kind of worked it out to where one's injured, one's not in a way.
All righty. Y'all ready to move on to some NBA basketball?
Always.
Sweet.
I was about to
Oh,
say,
look, here
calling
comes
Will.
Will.
Calling
Will,
Will.
what?
Whoa, that's crazy.
All right. Will, do you want to just take some time to exercise some of your demons, as the Sacramento Kings have now, what, 15 years?
I think
15 years in a row?
15 years. That's a long time.
Rags to riches, baby. So we haven't made the playoffs since I was in kindergarten. Which is it's a cold world. It's a rough road. The path to success is paved by your past defeats, and it's been a long one. I'm not gonna lie. Teams over the years, you had your IT, Boogie, Rudy Gay, big 3. Didn't pan out. You had the Maloof ownership, didn't pan out. You had now Vivek ownership is not really panning out. And a little bit of a turnover with the Monte McNair regime. We get Tyrese Halliburton. Maybe things are going to start to go the right way, but then we have the worst coach in the NBA sitting on the bench. So I'm not sure what the direction is now. Everyone in the preseason on Kings Twitter was saying it's a 10-team play-in now. We're going to be the 11th seed, which is, exactly what was going to happen. It's exactly what did happen. It's the Kings way. To play it like that. De'Aaron Fox, all-star contention, then just fell off, and the Kings went on a massive losing streak. Classic Kings. Rookie of the year conversation for Tyrese Halliburton. He gets hurt. Classic Kings. 2 9-game losing streaks. How about that? Who does that? Sacramento Kings. Great arena, one of the best in the world, I would say. Poor ownership. Best fans in the league. We're on the right track, but it's just not our time. Next season, who knows? The play-in's going to continue. So maybe there's something there. The Kings definitely have the talent on the roster. They don't have the coaching staff, though. Something's going to need to change, I think.
Hey, Will, can I ask you something?
Jeez. Yeah, sorry, I'm rambling. I'm all over.
No. It's good. Do you think that having the draft picks this year would have helped?
The top 5 in this class is nuts. And it's looking like
that's why I asked.
We're not going to have a top 5 pick. I think that could have definitely helped. if you go full tank mode and you get like a Cade Cunningham, oh boy, that's something. I mean, if like a positionless 3-guard lineup of Tyrese Halliburton, De'Aaron Fox, and Cade Cunningham would be crazy good. There's still a chance, there's still a chance that we jump in to that top 5 and get one of those top guys. But I mean, that would have definitely helped. I don't really know how deep this draft goes, but knowing the Kings, if we had the first pick, we wouldn't take Cade Cunningham. So in the end, I'm glad that we're not getting it because it probably wouldn't have panned out. So I don't know. I guess we just build in the offseason. Hopefully Luke Walton isn't here anymore and we move. That's all it is. We move. Can we break the playoff drought record? Maybe. 16 years? Wouldn't that be fun?
I mean, you
It
guys
blows my mind.
set the
I said
record.
this, I
You
said
might
this
as well
last
break
year,
it.
but I think the record we set this year with the 15, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you
y'all
tied
broke.
it,
Y'all set
yeah.
the record.
I think
Y'all might as
we
well break
tied the
it.
Clippers record, I thought.
Yeah, I think we just tied it. I don't think you've broken it yet.
Horrible. So sad. But what the thing that blows my mind is that if people have been born since the Kings made the playoffs are starting to get learner's permits, they're getting into the thick of high school and they've never seen a Kings playoff team. I don't really remember a Kings playoff team, to be honest. I remember the bad times. My dad told me that we watched the 2002 conference finals together. I know that happened. I don't remember it. And that's the last good thing we had.
So don't worry, Will. Luke Walton's preparing his game plan for next year. I heard ownership is assuring him another year. So,
Oh, geez.
So you be prepared for that. And the Kings right now, as I'm looking at the Tankathon website, they're tied for 8th in odds, but they're in the 9th slot. So knowing the Kings are probably going to get like the 11th or 12th pick.
That'll probably happen. Yeah,
so,
that'll probably happen. It's just brutal. The thing is, I want to believe in Luke Walton, and when they go on the the winning streaks, I so badly want to believe in him. But then, you have the 9-game losing skid where there's a minute left in the game. He calls timeout, and the set is no one knows what they're doing, and Buddy Hield just runs around and then throws the ball out of bounds. I can count probably, I might be over exaggerating, but there's been at least 5 times where Luke Walton has called timeout in crunch time, and the Kings have literally just thrown the ball out of bounds.
Okay, the game where they got eliminated, I was watching the last like 8 minutes, and that play he called, what was he?
It was not even a play.
I was like so confused.
I was gonna ask, does he even call plays?
He basically just had Buddy Hield running on the wing and just trying to get himself open. No one's running an action for him.
There's no action.
It's just him running around, and then like, oh, maybe he'll get open on his own. I
So
was like, what is going on?
the realization that I came to today is that the commentators all year long say, oh, there are a few coaches better in the league of drawing up plays out of the timeout than Luke Walton. Mark Jones is gaslighting me. Like, it's not true.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
I think you forgot when a player is cooking and then Luke Walton sits him for an extended period of time, and then he
You've got the 3-point champion.
That was awful. That was so bad. That the whole Luke Walton Buddy Hield relationship is so strange. I think that there needs to be a coach that really tells Buddy what to do and gives him a clear role.
He needs
Luke
direction.
Walton's that guy.
He needs direction. And
He
when
does.
Buddy Hield gets chances and he has direction on what to do, he's a better player.
So true. The biggest thing is that he will get the ball. It's like clockwork. Close game, a minute left. Get the ball. Luke Walton, dead sign on the sideline. Buddy Hield sprints up the court with 3 seconds gone in the shot clock and just chucks it from 3. Deep 3, contested. Every time. He's airballed a few of them, just clanks them off. Sometimes they go in. It's a very low percentage shot. I actually posted I got on the Finsta story. I had I had a picture of a stat, and it was Buddy Hield has the lowest 3-point percentage of any NBA guard in the fourth quarter and overtime. He is shooting about 30% from the field in the fourth quarter and overtime. And he takes, I mean, with De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton sideline, he's the guy every time. So those are not high percentage shots that he's taking. He's not being set up for success by anyone, but he's not really setting himself up either. Like, he's not running around his screen. He's literally just chucking contested three.
Especially
Anyway.
if we know he can hit those consistently.
Exactly.
And
So I know we don't want to spend forever on the Kings.
Yeah,
but
I'm going to yield my time.
no, we can do
you guys
We can
always
absolutely
give me
do
my
it.
outlet.
Yeah.
You guys always give me my outlet, and I appreciate it. That being said, we can talk some playoffs. Somewhere my
Yeah,
Kings
what do you
are
think?
not very close to.
Just really quick, what do you think about like the moves they made at the deadline concerning the second unit? Like, would bring in DeLon Wright and Terrence Davis. Like,
Well, that wasn't the second unit. Did you see the last couple of games? That was it. That was the unit.
Yeah,
they don't
it's-
have anyone else right now.
they
That was-
wanted to be the second unit though.
That was the most like haphazard win now, pseudo win now thing you could possibly do, is bring in like okay rotational players that are going to win you a few more games. Classic Kings, right? You're not tanking. You're not pushing for the playoffs with those guys. I'll tell you that much. They're cool. I mean, like DeLon Wright is a super solid player. It's not going to get us over the hump though. And then that also his contract, Kojo is expiring. He has another year on, and we have to re-sign Rashawn Holmes. So I don't know where that money's going to come from.
At this point, with the Marvin Bagley situation, do you keep Rashawn Holmes and just bench Bagley?
I would love to see Bagley get some minutes. I would love to see him have success.
Same.
I don't
Same.
know. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen on the Kings in a starting role. He's been pretty good when he plays. He can't stay on the court, but I would love to see them back him. I don't know if he fits with Rashawn Holmes. Rashawn Holmes, I think, is a much more impactful player and will be a more impactful player. So if the decision is to get rid of Rashawn at the cost of Bagley, I will be upset. But, that's probably what's going to happen. So I'm just getting ready for it.
I would prepare yourself for that.
Yeah,
We're all unfortunately.
Mentally prepare for that one.
I think someone's going to throw the bag at Rishwan, and then the Kings are going to be like, just
I
like
mean,
last summer. Well,
he deserves it. He's so good, and he's the heart and soul of the team on both ends of the floor.
All effort. All effort.
All effort. 100%. Like, it's amazing.
I mean, he deserves to be in a winning environment too, right?
He so does. There's a reason. Early on in his contract with the Kings, he got MVP chance at the free throw line. And there's a reason for that. The Kings have been starved for a player that really puts their heart and soul into it every single night. And you can see it. Like, his passion is awesome. He fouls out all the time. And when he does, they always pan the camera over to him on the bench or in the tunnel. And he's freaking out because he's so mad that he fouled out. And that kind of passion is just what you need on a team. So I'd love to keep him.
I think Dallas
All right.
for Holmes.
Dallas.
Yeah, the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh God. Yeah.
They got enough big guys over there, honestly. The only plus side,
like Boban, they still have Boban and Maxi Kleber. And all
the only plus side I could see with them getting Rashawn Holmes is Porzingis can't stay healthy. And if Porzingis goes down, then Rashawn Holmes is absolutely that guy that you put in to give you nothing but rebounds and dishes on the fast break.
Definitely.
The Luka Rishwan pick and roll would be
That's
devastating.
what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Kings could have had that.
Oh,
They really could have. They could have.
Oh God.
Don't remind me.
Lottie!
Don't remind
Like we're just like bringing up like
Everything.
Yeah,
I love this.
all
This
of
became
those
a 30-minute roast session of the Sacramento Kings.
Wow.
We got to get the local team some coverage,
How about a 9 seed next year? How about a 9 seed?
Yeah, I think you guys can make the play in next year.
Y'all, honestly, as a Spurs fan, the way we started playing towards the end of the season, y'all could have taken us. Absolutely. Y'all could have taken us down and easily had that 10. With Zion being hurt, the Pelicans dropped a few games, and y'all could have easily slid to that 10.
It was so easy. It looked so easy, and I was so excited.
I had y'all making playoffs.
Luke Walton
If you had
is not a playoff coach. That's the end of the story.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That's it.
Is he even like a coach?
I don't know. I was really, really excited when the Arizona job opened up, and the King's Twitter was ablaze with rumors about him leaving. And then in the press conference, I'm really happy here. I think I've got a good role. He is his post game press conferences. If you've ever been mad at a basketball game and you watch his post game press conference, cranks it up to 1,000,000. Every single time we lose, he goes, "Yeah, we're gonna have to look at the tape. You just saw the game. You know what happened.
You were there."
Literally." Yeah.
No,
All right,
I've having gone through the Luke Walton experience before, I completely I don't know if you guys remember, but I tried to warn Will when they hired Luke Walton. I don't know if you guys remember, but I clearly remember warning Will. I'm like, dude, this is not a good. And he's like, no, he just couldn't succeed in LA. LA was a bad situation. Luke Walton's a good coach. He's gonna lead the Kings to the playoffs. And I'm like, dude, like you're gonna get really frustrated with him. And lo and behold,
It took Will like a year and a half to come to that realization too, because he would always be like, "Oh no, it's okay." He was a really big Luke Walton apologist, and then it's so funny to see him now just tear into him.
I was a big
But
fan of that.
yeah.
Two things. One, the Lakers had LeBron. If you can't win with LeBron, it's LeBron. Seriously. So that was your first question right there. If you can't win with LeBron, then he's like, okay, I want to stay in California. I've already been to Golden State. Y'all kind of get him by default. And unfortunately, if you can't win with LeBron, why would you even want to be a coach in the NBA?
That's a fair
think-
point.
I hope he's forwarding his checks to the Warriors because he's got 2 head coaching jobs just because of he was
Namesake.
73-9 Warriors.
48-4. Put some respect on the name.
Yeah, I think
48-4.
he should be
His dad and Steve Kerr got him the second.
Namesake. Absolutely.
sending checks to Steve Kerr's back surgeon, actually, who was the one who allowed him to be the mascot for their 48-4 run.
Great. Thank you, Luke Walton.
So if you guys are done with sulking in the Sacramento King wasteland,
I have one more. One
go
more
for
thing.
it.
Ready for this alternate timeline? Steve Kerr's back, never gets hurt. Do the Kings make the playoffs?
Yes.
I think they do.
Yes, 100.
Wow.
They don't fire Dave Yeager, that's for sure.
And
Oh,
Dave
I
Yeager-
totally
yep.
forgot we did that.
And Dave Yeager pushes him to that 10th seed easily.
Yeah,
Yeager's a really good coach.
Oh my God, I totally forgot that we fired Dave Yeager and hired.
No,
Luke.
yeah, you don't remember that because when Luke Walton got hired, you're like, "Oh, Dave
Dude,
Yeager
I
was
just-
a good coach, but
And-
Luke Walton will
and-
be an improvement."
And y'all fired Mike Malone.
Oh, I've just
Look at where the
They
Grizzlies are.
fired Mike Malone because DeMarcus Cousins got injured. It was
But-
so stupid.
All I'm saying is look at where the Grizzlies are. They in the playoffs. We're the Kings.
In the playoffs.
I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with the organization, but it's got to be fixed.
All right,
I hope Monty
let's
fixes
keep
it.
it pushing. Let's keep it pushing. Let's talk about something else.
Well,
I was gonna say I got the playoff matchups, the official playoff matchups. You guys want to hear them? I'll roll them
Yeah.
down. It's official now. I think all the games are over now. So these are the official 2021 NBA playoffs. All right, I'm gonna start on the Eastern Conference side. We got the let's see. We got the Bucks going against the Heat. I think that's a really good series. We got the team of New York, the Knicks, locking up that 4th spot against the Hawks. We'll definitely get to talking about that. In the playing game, we got the Celtics and the Wizards, which I think is going to be a really, really good game, interesting game there. And the other playing game, the 9 and the 10, is the Pacers and the Hornets. And at 1 and 2, we got the Sixers and the Nets. So I don't know. I think there's some interesting series there in the East. And when you look at the West, we got the Nuggets locking up the 3 seed. Some shameless tanking between them and the Clippers today. How do you lose to the Thunder? But whatever. Anyways, the Nuggets are going to play the Blazers. That has the potential to be a very, very, intriguing series depending on how Dame does. We got the other LA team against the Mavericks in that 4 and 5 spot. Another rematch of last year. In the playing games, we got the scrappy 7 seed Lakers going against the Warriors. The underdog Lakers looking, they just got healthy, so we'll see about that, what they do. And then the Grizzlies and the Spurs with the Jazz and the Suns being the 1 and 2 seeds. So I don't know, man. I think a lot of series stand out to me, especially that Clippers Mavericks series. I'm just saying, it looks like a really good series to me.
The Clippers will, if they don't win in the first round against Dallas, like that, they're just.
Oh,
I
that's
really
a big ask for them, though.
Kawhi's coming to New York if that happens. Let's go.
That's actually pretty
Hey man, I'm gonna say last year, I mean, there's people that are like, the Mavericks had a better team last year, but I mean, if you remember, they weren't really healthy. I mean, aside Porzingis got hurt,
They haven't been healthy this year.
and then Jalen Brunson wasn't there, which I think he's become a big part of their second unit. And last year they lucked into Trey Burke, so he kind of like helped out a little bit. But Jalen Brunson is like a legit backup point guard. Like he's a really good point guard. So I think
He's great off the bench.
yeah, he's really good off the bench. So I think missing him was definitely big. But I don't know. I think Luka is also a better player. He kind of started off slow, but he rounded into form. So I'm honestly really excited to see that series. I'm really excited. I think might go 7. I'm not even gonna lie. I might go 7.
I think actually I'm a lot higher on the Clippers this year than I was last year, just because I think Ty Lue is a much more modern coach than Doc Rivers in many ways. Like I think he's doing a better job at utilizing Paul George this year. If you see the numbers, like Paul George kind of went crazy. Like we all know pandemic P, playoff P. He has his issues in certain areas, but I do think the Clippers are like they could surprise a lot of people. I think if they make it to the series against the Suns, because I know the Suns are technically the 2 seed, but
It shouldn't be a surprise though. Like this shouldn't be a surprise. Like wow, they make it to past the first round. This is the team that was last year. Everyone was like, they're going to win the title.
The whole thing is you never know what Paul George you're going to get on any given night. And with that kind of inconsistency, you never know what team is going to show up. And Kawhi can't do it all himself.
no.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know. It's going to come down to, will Paul George, like you guys were saying, will Paul George be the Paul George we see in the regular season? He had one of his best offensive regular seasons this year. I thought Kawhi kind of like was lackluster all year, but he could just be saving his legs. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be, can he, be that Paul George that we know? Because when Paul George is on, he's really good. He's a prototypical like player that you want, right? He's like that wing that he can guard and he can also score. But the thing is, he has a hard time keeping that consistency up in the playoffs. So it's going to be as simple as, can Paul George give you the buckets or not? Because I thought the Rondo acquisition was good, but if Paul George shoots 4 for 18 in the playoff game, like there's really not much you can do at that point.
And because of that, I think that's why they picked up Cousins, because if he's not on, Cousins can clean up those rebounds. And as long as he's in there to clean those up, Kawhi's back on the outside. They have a solid enough big 3 that they could do some damage. But you're right. If they don't get past Dallas, something's wrong. That's something is absolutely wrong.
I think DeMarcus Cousins is probably gonna. I think the Clippers, they're at their best with a small lineup, so I wouldn't be surprised if Cousins doesn't get a lot of minutes, or just Zubac also. He doesn't get a lot of minutes because I think they run their best.
Their best will be Bach at the 5, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
At the 5, or sometimes they play Marcus Morris at the 5 if they want to go like even smaller. So they could play like Rondo. Who are they? They even played Rondo and Pat Bev together sometimes. So it's just like them two, and then Morris, Kawhi, and PG. So it really depends. But I think when it comes to it, they're gonna go small with Ibaka, who's been like, he came back, but he was out for a good amount of time. So we'll see how he comes back. But yeah, that's definitely a series in the Western Conference, at least that catches my eye. And just to correct, if the Clippers were to advance to the second round, they'd play the winner of the Jazz and the 8th seed, by the way. So I forgot who mentioned, yeah, because the Suns are the 2nd seed. So
Warriors Clippers in the second round. Book it right here.
I don't know about all that.
So you're already conceding defeat.
We're gonna lose the Lakers, and then we're gonna win the game, and we can beat the Jazz in a 7-game series. It can happen.
Bob, how do you feel about? I feel disrespected about Omar having the "We Believe Lakers" stuff on his background. I'm not even a Warriors fan. How do you feel about that?
Because he changed it to the Lakers symbol. Because he's being provocateur.
Unbelievable from him.
Where the underdog, scrappy 7 seed, we're
Stop.
gonna be
You
the
have two
lowest,
MVP
Stop.
calibers.
Stop.
I'm tired of this.
Two
I'm
of
so
them.
tired of
Stop.
this.
Two of
the
them.
lowest seed to ever win the championship. The scrappy. Look, when it comes with in like 30 years, when I have to explain to people, I'm gonna if the Lakers win the championship this year, if I have to explain to people the story 30 years from now, I'm gonna like exaggerate it so much.
You already do. You literally
Yeah,
I
are.
was like, say, what's
you hyped it
different?
up.
What's
I'm gonna
different?
be like, you know,
The
everyone thought
redemption arc
LeBron
of
was-
Anthony Davis.
Everyone thought LeBron was washed. Everyone thought LeBron was washed, and all of a sudden, the scrappy underdog Lakers team with no stars just goes on a run and they win it as the 7th seed. Just wait till I alter history. Just wait for that.
Constantly torment my brain, Omar. I hate
I
listening
think you
to
guys
this.
are. I think that playing game is going to be won by the Lakers. It's going to be hard for you guys to beat Phoenix 4 times.
We gotta include the narrative of a young Taylor Horn Tucker, who future
Yeah.
superstar caliber. This is his really like coming alive arc.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Defensive Player of the Year snub Alex Caruso as well.
He better be on the all defensive team. He better be. If you look at the numbers, he's at the top of every category on defense. Every
Heart
single
and soul, number one.
Grinder,
He's
Gruden
a-
Grinder.
Imrat, blue collar worker.
He's the first one in, last one out.
First
He's
one
the
in.
guy-
Hardest working guy on the team. He just puts in as much effort as you could ask for. The kind of guy you want your daughter to marry. Just, a class act.
Yeah,
A
big-
class
I think I don't know about that, Bob. I think the Lakers would probably beat the Suns in 5 games.
Oh,
I think,
come
way.
on.
I
Okay.
think
What?
You exhaust me.
We talk a lot of smack about CP on this podcast, but that's a little too much.
But the thing is like
Way
with the
too
Suns,
much.
Do you guys really trust DeAndre Ayton guarding AD? Like, I think that's an absolute problem for the Suns.
Did you not watch the game?
Kaminsky or Dario Saric at him? Like, those aren't any good options.
Jalen Smith.
Jay Crowder would get creamed by
Jay
Anthony
Crowder.
Davis.
Jay Crowder can handle LeBron.
No
not
one
AD.
can. No one.
And
can.
what time it is his career has Jay Crowder defended LeBron well?
Did you watch? Hey, Bob, did you watch any game of the finals where LeBron won MVP and Jay Crowder was guarding him? I don't know.
Yeah.
He can handle him. He can handle him.
Yeah, literally the past like half decade has just been Jay Crowder getting clowned on by LeBron in the East. I don't know what you're talking about.
And then joining him.
You can handle him this time.
I don't know if you guys watched the game last week, but AD had 42. He had a double-double with 42 points. And I think that if Ayton can be on like in a zone that he's shown, but he's really inconsistent. If he can be in that zone, I think definitely I think they'll have a shot to give him a hard series. But I just don't think that he can keep up with playoff AD, whose career averages in the playoffs are like 28 and 10. Like he's just absolutely crazy. And then when you go to the second unit, you're gonna have like you mentioned, Dario Saric or Frank Kaminsky guarding AD. Like, come on, man. And I just think they'll make it close. And I gave them 1 game because you have Devin Booker, and Devin Booker is he's given to go off at least 1 game, but I think it's gonna be 5 games. You guys might be calling it crazy, but I truly believe that.
They need anabolic Ayton.
You don't think Dennis Schroeder's just gonna get absolutely daddied up by Chris Paul? Because I know it's gonna happen.
No, he's gonna shut down Chris Paul because had he
Come
not,
on!
Stop.
he should be on the all defensive team.
It's gonna be
Tell
prime
us how
rating
the Lakers
problem.
defensive stats are this year if you're gonna put 2 of their guards on the all defensive team.
Yeah, Caruso,
I-
Schroeder.
They're at the top.
I will give you the
they had
DeAndre
no
Ayton
LeBron.
versus AD, but come on, stop it.
They had no
CP3 would
LeBron.
cook.
No LeBron, no
Look.
AD. Top of the NBA in defense. Top of the NBA in defense. Why? Because he had players like Schroeder, Caruso, KCP, all that really good defenders.
Absolutely
And I think
exposed. Oh, I'll tell you who's gonna guard LeBron. Mikal Bridges.
That's what I was thinking.
McHale jail. He's going to McHale jail.
Right. Not forget Jay Crowder.
wow, I'm very, very scared of Mikal Bridges guarding LeBron. That's terrifying.
All defensive first team player right there, and it's only his 3rd year.
I agree.
It's LeBron James. It's
36.
LeBron James.
He's 36.
It's LeBron James.
He's still an incredible player, but he's 36.
Miles Bridges, who
Oh,
called
And he sat like half the season.
He's
Yeah.
a He's a LeBron with
He's gonna have
fresh
fresh
legs.
legs.
He's a LeBron with fresh legs. coming off a shortened off season. He finally got the rest he wanted. He needed really. So honestly, like Bob's been like saying LeBron's age as an excuse for the last like 3 years. So like I don't know like when he's gonna realize that doesn't matter if he's on the floor.
You miss half the year.
It's all part of the plan, though. It's all part of the plan because they had to play a long year, no off season. It was all part of the plan. LeBron was like, "I'm gonna get hurt, so I take half the year off and then come back fresh." It was all part of the
Lakers are allowed
plan.
to do whatever they want. They can tamper to get Anthony Davis. They can rest their players even when they're not too badly injured.
100%.
The league loves
And
them.
Lakers fans still be like, we're the underdogs.
Omar will die on that hill. Omar will die on the hill. The Lakers are the underdog, even when they have the greatest player of all time and one of the best bigs in the league.
Impossible to be underdogs, even at a 7.
Not only that, but we also already won the hardest championship of all time in the bubble, which was like is the hardest mental championship ever. So I think I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun scene, especially after we beat them and then beat the Nuggets in 4 games because the Nuggets they're not good. So honestly, I really hope this year we get to see the Clippers and the Lakers.
You guys still there?
Everyone's frozen.
It's one playoff series. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Can we move to the East?
Yes, please.
Sorry, guys. We just broke up for a little. Zoom's telling us our internet connection's unstable. After we got done with the Kings, I wanted to talk about another team that's usually mentioned in the Kings, like I guess arena or just in the same area. The New York Knicks, home court advantage.
Let's go.
Let's go.
The 8-year playoff drought. Last
I'm
time,
vicariously through you, Miles. I wish you all the best success for overcoming what we have yet to overcome.
like, I still can't believe this season was real, considering we went into it with the lowest win total from Vegas. Like, they thought we were gonna have the worst team in the league, and then we are a top half team in the Eastern Conference. Thibodeau is just an absolute legend. He's
Coach of the year.
He's
Coach of the year.
A 4 seed with Elfrid Payton as their starting point guard. Elfrid Payton, he's garbage.
Yeah, we came into this year really talking about how like there would be sellers, Julius Randle's gonna be gone, stuff like that, and then it really gives hope for Kings fans. One coaching change can really just make a whole difference because that team absolutely shouldn't have won.
Will's hope now hope.
Yeah, shouldn't have won more than 30, let alone 40. Like this team definitely exceeded expectations.
Thibodeau, absolutely coach of the year. He has coached that team to that 4 seed with like you said, Elfrid Payton.
I mean, but Elfrid Payton and Reggie Bullock. I don't think those two guys would start on any other playoff team in the league.
No way.
So, like, the fact, Patrick's got the Raven Felton New York background. That's the last time the Knicks were good, when he was wearing the Knicks jersey. And just the fact that we can go into the playoff series. I actually feel pretty confident against the Hawks. We won the season series against them. I know a lot of people in the national media are like, oh, the Hawks are going to blow the Knicks out. It's not even going to be close. But the Knicks, the Knicks defense, that travels. That's going to be there every single game of that series.
Yeah.
The Hawks, sometimes you get Trae Young who goes for 40. Sometimes you get the Trae Young who doesn't want to pass to his teammates. So who knows? We'll see.
It's really a showcase of two very different styles. It's gonna be a defensive team versus a one-man show kind of deal, like 150 point per game team. Like it's gonna be a fun watch. I agree. I think the Knicks are getting a little trashed because I think you're right. Defense travels. They've shown all year that they can hang with these high-scoring teams. So,
hey man, I think I'm gonna say it right now. Knicks in 6. I think the Knicks are going to win the series. I don't love the Hawks for the reason that when they need to get a defensive stop, I think DeAndre Hunter is probably their best defender. But when they're going to need to get a stop, I just don't really know if they're going to be able to. But then again, I think when you look at the Knicks, they have to figure something out when it comes to crunch time. You can't just have Julius ISOing for like 20 seconds on the shot clock and then just taking a tough shot. Because when I was watching against the Lakers, like that was their only play in crunch time, which is why they have such a bad record when it comes to close games. So yeah, I don't know. I think they need to figure something out there. But I think this was like the best matchup that the Knicks could have wished for, because now they have a legit shot at winning the series.
I think the only way that I'll be happy with the Hawks winning is a bogey masterclass. If bogey averages like 25 and they go on a run and beat the Knicks, I'll be happy. Otherwise, it's got to be the Knicks. I think I'm gonna have to agree with Omar here. We agree very rarely. But I'll say Knicks in 6. Go Knicks. How about Knicks conference finals? Let's hammer it.
Oh,
That's too far. That's too far.
the Sixers. I don't think Ben Simmons has ever lost to the Knicks in his entire career. So that
I don't think so either.
Perspective.
Really?
Yeah. I think they beat them every single time he's
Ben
played.
Simmons is gonna haunt Alfred Payton.
I'm just gonna say that this is a very random like note, but seeing Reggie Bullock just like go off with the Knicks is infuriating, because that one year the Lakers traded for him, he shot like I think less than 30% from 3. He just forgot how to shoot, and now he's out here making like clutch threes for the Knicks at MSG and stuff. Like where was that when we needed him? It just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I think when you're looking at that Eastern Conference, though, the Sixers have a pretty good route to the Eastern Conference Finals. They're gonna play the 8th seed, which you got to think might be the Wizards or the Celtics, the banged up Celtics, and then they're gonna play the winner of the Knicks Hawks. So I think their road to the Eastern Conference Finals is, if they don't make the Eastern Conference Finals for whatever reason, like that's gonna be a huge deal.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot easier of a road than the Nets or the Bucks are going to have, because they're going to have to go through each other. And that conference semifinals series is going to be so good. I mean, actually, maybe I'm speaking too soon here, because the Heat still have a chance. They beat the Bucks last year. I mean, I know they're not playing as well as they were last year, and they obviously don't have like Jay Crowder and some other guys from last year. But I think there's still a chance that the Bucks have those playoff woes and Coach Bud doesn't know how to adjust, and all of a sudden it's the Heat leading with 5 minutes left in Game 7, and you don't know what's gonna happen. It could.
I'm a really big believer in the Heat, but I agree. I think no shot. I think the Bucks are a way different animal this year, even with the same issues they're gonna have from last year. I think they made the right moves to at least get them to the second round and be pretty competitive with the Nets. So I really like Jimmy and I really like Bam, but I just don't know how those two guys get past the Bucks this year.
I think I see some key differences when it comes to this year's matchup against last year's matchup. The first one is that Eric Bledsoe is no longer going to be throwing up bricks for the Bucks, and you have Drew Holiday, who's a huge upgrade on both ends of the court. So I think that's like a huge upgrade that compared to last year. And then also last year, Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson were playing well. This year, not so much. So I think the Heat will like give them a run for their money. But I think I think the Bucks are going to win in 5 games. I don't think it'll be relatively close. I think the Bucks are going to win in 5 games. And I got my dream matchup for the second round, as I mentioned to you guys like a couple months ago, the Bucks and the Nets. And as for the Nets, I hope they play the Wizards in the first round. That'd just be fun to watch.
Oh, that would be an amazing matchup. You get I'd say you have like 5 of the most entertaining players in the league in one series.
Just
Most
300,
impactful.
yeah,
100%.
300 combined points between the two teams every game, because there'll be absolutely no defense played.
Robin Lopez on DeAndre Jordan crime.
I think I like obviously people are like, oh, but the Wizards gave the Nets problems. I think obviously the Nets will probably win in like 4 or 5 games. But I just think like I don't say it as like, oh, the Wizards can knock out the Nets. I just want to see it from like an entertainment standpoint and the storyline. You know, you see Westbrook against Durant and Harden, you know, you're going to see that again. So it'd just be fun to watch, honestly. Like if from a fan perspective, it'd just be fun to watch as like a neutral fan.
Also,
Westbrook
those
is
benches
going
are
to
hilarious.
The Nets. Sorry, go ahead, Will.
I was gonna say the benches are so funny. Like it's just I love seeing Raul Neto get like legitimate backup point guard minutes because he's just not very good, but he just gets like 15 minutes a game plus for the Wizards. I would love to see that against the Nets.
Russ is playing all 48 against the Nets. He's not
Oh,
letting Raul
yeah, no
Neto
doubt.
touch the court.
Yeah, honestly, I give a lot of hate to Westbrook, but mad respect to him this year because that team, another team, I was like, no shot they even get within distance of making the playoffs, and now they're the 8th seed.
I remember in our one of our off season, this is like beginning of quarantine, one of the first Zoom calls. We were gunning for Westbrook to go to the Knicks so they could limp into the 8th seed. And look where we are now. Randall on the Knicks, they're up in a home court spot, and Russ just limped the Wizards into the play-in. So
Who would have thought, man? Who would have thought? I think that the Wizards. Scott Brooks is like Luke Walton East, but the difference is that he has Westbrook and Beal, and Luke Walton doesn't. So he's a terrible coach. He's an absolutely terrible coach, and I'm interested to see how he does in a series, especially in the playing game. And the playing game is going to be pretty close, the Wizards and the Celtics, because the Celtics are pretty banged up. So it's going to be a fun one to watch. I think the Eastern Conference has like really good matchups all around.
Yeah, the East.
Yeah.
I think with all the superstars getting traded to the East, they finally like showed up, and it's not just like, oh, we'll just wait for LeBron to get out of the East and we'll see who plays in the West. It's like there's some real intrigue with these top 3 teams, I'd say.
Yeah,
Scott Brooks also has a job just because of Westbrook at this point, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's his entire career has been defined by that man.
yeah.
And then like I honestly like overall in both conferences it's pretty evenly we have some good intriguing matchups on both sides. On the West you got the Clippers, Mavs, and then maybe Suns, Lakers, and then East you got some interesting storylines as well. The fact that like the East has now like more even superstars compared to other years when the West maybe was a little more stacked. I think we're gonna see we're in for some special playoffs. I just can't believe that it was like that fast. It just felt like December. It was just like last week or something. It felt like really fast.
I remember my Kings playoff hopes were still alive. They did a montage before the game of like the best calls of the season, and they finished it off with Buddy Hield's game-winning tip-in against the Nuggets to open the season 1-0. I was on cloud 9. I was saying reckless things about the Kings making the playoffs, and now here we are. It's a cold world.
Next year, you can get your driver's license as a Kings fan. Not 16 years past a playoff.
I don't want the streak to be able to vote. That would be
that would be really rough.
that would be
I think they're gonna make it to drinking age.
Yeah, I was gonna say drinking age, dude. It's coming.
If we get to rental car age, rental car range would be the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do anymore.
So, did you guys want to talk about any like predictions, like who y'all have?
Well, as I said, let's give some more love to the play-in guys. Like, obviously, like none of us think these guys are gonna go anywhere, but like for the Grizzlies, second time in a row they're in the play-in. Like, what do they got to do to get past that hump?
They need De'Aaron Fox instead of John Morant.
I think John Morant's better than De'Aaron Fox, but I think when you look at the Grizzlies, you got to give them, obviously it's Memphis, so it's not a big market, but you got to give them credit for the fact that they've been able to, like John Morant is legit, and they've been able to give them like a pretty solid team, and they haven't, they're Memphis, so they're not exactly like the big market that you don't attract the free agents. They've been able, their scouting department is really good. So they've been able to find some legit players on the Grizzlies. So like, I think if they can possibly like get another guard or maybe like a 3 that can help them out and can score and help out Ja like that, I think that'll be the next step. But yeah, I mean their scouting department is really good, and I think they don't get as much props as they should.
Definitely.
I feel like they draft a good player in like the late first round or second round every year.
Definitely.
Desmond Bane, I think, was that player for them this year. Like, and he's just been absolutely like lights out from beyond the arc. And I wouldn't be surprised if him and DeAnthony Melton get more run in the play-in games than they were in the regular season because like Grayson Allen, I don't know why he keeps getting all these minutes. It seems like
Gray.
he's a lot better.
He actually did.
Crappy. White collar work or blue collar worker?
Hardest worker on the court, first one in, last one out, scrappy player. You already know.
Knows the coach.
Yeah, dude, that guy's kicking and fighting for every point. I've been big on D'Anthony Melton for a while. I think he's a really good two-way player.
I thought you were gonna say Grayson Allen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Grizzlies, I think it's a relatively successful year considering how young they are. Just looking at like the Pelicans, right? They were the 1-2 of that draft compared to how the Pelicans have handled their first 2 years of Zion. Like the Grizzlies are miles ahead of them. And I think even if they don't make the 8th seed this time around, it's still an impressive year considering it's only Ja's second. And he hasn't ever really had a normal year. He's had the pandemic year and then the shortened season. So the issue I'm having with like the Kings, like and their future outlook, because I feel like all these teams in the West that have like young stars like the Pelicans and the Grizzlies are gonna get better and they're gonna just fill the voids of the teams that might get worse, like the Spurs. And I don't know if there's gonna be room for the
Ouch. Ouch.
It's a hard truth, but it is the truth. But I don't know. I mean, every year we say there's no room for the Kings, and then every year there is room for the Kings, and they shoot themselves in the foot. So as long as the Kings don't shoot themselves in the foot, I'm confident there's at least a plan in the future, if not an actual playoff qualification. Next year, who knows? So
yeah, I can't even lie. Memphis is definitely taking us down. We have not played very well at all the last like month of the season.
Well, it's been a really tough schedule.
Yeah, and I mean, we got fined for resting players when we had back-to-backs, and we're the team that gets fined. So there have been a lot of issues with the team overall this season, but shout out to Keldon Johnson because he had a whole bunch of growth this year. Shout out to DeJounte Murray because he's understanding how to like work the offense the way he wants to go. I mean, our guys played well. That's all I gotta say about that. But Memphis is definitely taking us down.
Yeah, I think they should beat the Spurs, but you never know. Maybe Coach Pop devises a little scheme, gets the Spurs into the playoffs.
And I think that's where the difference is. Like, good coaching can lead you to the playoffs. And
one game.
Yes, one game, and that's all we need. So unfortunately, even if we do survive Memphis, we would have to play LA. And I know Omar's got the LeBron evil eyes. No, that is a game that Jakob Poeltl would get eaten alive under the rim.
No, that's a rough matchup.
Eaten alive under the rim. So we already know where it is, and
they would play the Warriors, right? Because there's no way.
Yeah, true.
No,
it's the 8, and then whoever wins the 9 and 10.
Yeah, I've been saying. I was saying this to Miles the other day. I can see it just coming in our future the prophecies. It's coming to fruition because the Warriors beat the Grizzlies today to get the 8 seed. If we lose against the Lakers and we have to play the Grizzlies again, that just you never want that situation of playing a team like that again. Like they're way more committed to making their adjustments than a team that won the first time around. It's a really dangerous situation.
Yeah, I just think you're gonna get the best of Draymond and Steph, and and Wiggins has been good really recently too. So I just think they have more talent than the Grizzlies. But you're right, the Grizzlies got screwed in the play-in last year. They're gonna fight like heck in that game. So I think in the NBA, honestly, I'm a fan of the play-in tournament. I think it's going to be great basketball. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of entertaining. It's made the end of the regular season so much better than it used to be, where it was like, oh, well, we know who's going to be in the playoffs. Let's just talk about seeding and potential like playoff matchups. So now we're like, who's going to be in the playoffs? Who's going to be in the play-in? And I think it's added a lot of intrigue.
Yeah, there's actually something to fight for. So even if the Kings can't make an 8th seed, they could still make like a 10, and they could still make the play-in.
Exactly.
That's the hope. That's all we got. So,
all right, you guys want to do some predictions? I know Omar's ready to drop the hammer.
Some predictions.
I'll let all you guys go first. I'll go last. Don't worry
Nah,
about it.
Omar, I want to hear what you got to say, man.
Yeah.
All right, fine. All right, for sure. All right, so I think this year we might see some surprises in the playoffs. Some predictions, but ultimately, when it comes to the finals, you guys know I've been on the Eastern Conference. I've been really high on the Bucks, so I think the Bucks make it out the East in a shocker. I think that the key thing was playing Giannis at the 5, as I've been mentioning all year. And if they can do that, I have a hard time seeing the way the Nets are going to be able to stop them unless they just completely outscore them. But in the playoffs, if you can't get some stops, it's really hard to win like that. So it's going to be all up to Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday if they can step up. But I do think they have a better team than last year. And honestly, Coach Bud is coaching for his job. He's coaching for his job right here, because if they don't make the Eastern Conference Finals, or if they don't make the finals, I could see a situation where he doesn't come back next year. So I think I got the Bucks against the scrappy Lakers team, who honestly I think they're gonna win in 5 in the first round, win in 5 in the second round, and then beat the Clippers in 6 and make it to the finals. And I got the back-to-back. I mean, as I have in my background from Lithanos, reality is often disappointing. I know you guys want to see, like all these different teams win, but come on, you have LeBron and you have AD. If they're on the court, they're gonna win the championship. It's just simple as that. So that's what I got. I got the Lakers over the Bucks in 6 games.
I can go next. I'll have a very interesting small market finals of the Bucks versus the Jazz, and nobody's gonna watch it. It's gonna be the worst ratings ever, but I think that's what it's gonna be.
NBA TV.
Yeah, it's gonna be an NBA TV. Literally, no one's gonna watch this finals. But I think the 76ers. I'm with Omar. I think the Nets can't play the Bucks, and if the 76ers have to play Giannis, I feel like Giannis wins that. And in the West, I think Utah's been a really good team all year. Pretty much been disrespected all year. And compared to the Suns, they have Rudy Gobert, who can play these bigs. He's not obviously he's not gonna kill them. Like AD is gonna get his, Giannis is gonna get his, but like at least he can like kind of slow them down, hopefully. And I think as long as Utah shooters stay hot, they'll be fine. It's just a matter of can they stay hot.
Adam Silver will literally go on the court himself as a referee before that happens. So
Yeah, I can do mine next. I'm like you, Omar. I've seen the changes the Bucks have made. Drew Holiday looks so good with them, and I'm excited. But just what we talked about earlier with the 76ers path, it's pretty easy, not gonna lie. So they're gonna be, I think, pretty well rested. I mean, actually, the Knicks might put up a formidable second round opponent, but I think the Sixers have too much talent. So I think they're gonna make the finals in the East, and honestly, I do think the Lakers are gonna win it all again. How do you stop a team with LeBron at the 4, AD at the 5, and then just like shooters? Like it's so hard to stop. Obviously, health has been a huge concern, but I really think it's gonna be back to back for the Lakers.
I tried not to be a hater, but I also have the Lakers winning it all. Where I differ is the Sixers Bucks. I've got to give Joel Embiid his props, because every time he faces Giannis, he goes at him, and not in a soft way. They're against the glass. They're throwing each other on the floor. It's a physical game. So I think if you get in there early, get a technical against Giannis, which could happen. Joel Embiid just plucks your nerves. He will pluck your nerves under the rim. And when he gets in your head, that's game over.
I'd have to agree with that. I'm going to have to go with a Lakers over Sixers championship. I'm a big Sixers guy, and they got a great squad. Doc Rivers is a great coach. I love Joel Embiid getting his roses, and I love Joel Embiid getting stuff done. Unfortunately, my favorite player ever, and the reason he's my favorite player is because I think he's the best player ever, LeBron James. I just can't go against him. He is that good. He's that great. He plays for my least favorite team in all of sports, but he's just that good. So I'm gonna have to put the Lakers over the Sixers, as unfortunate as that is.
I think just like also the entertainment of watching a 36-year-old LeBron win another one would be pretty amazing. Like
As the 7th seed. Imagine that.
Omar, stop it.
as
No.
Imagine the narrative of LeBron being the first ever champion from the play-in game. Has Michael Jordan ever done that? No, I don't
Stop
think
it.
so. I don't think he's ever done that. Has he ever won it as a 7th seed? No. Has he ever won it from the play-in game? No. So I mean,
That's the one thing. That's the one thing that works for me. That's the one thing that I would do. I would go tooth and nail fighting for LeBron over Jordan on Twitter. I would leave the Lakers out of it, and it would just be about LeBron. But that would be something. I got a lot of hate from that. I'm gonna be honest. I got a lot of hate from my Kings fan friends saying, "Oh, you like the Lakers because LeBron." I don't like the Lakers. I like LeBron. If he wins, I'm kind of happy. The fact that it's the Lakers ruins it a lot, but it's LeBron. So
yeah,
you got it
I
all.
want LeBron to be the unanimous best player of all time when he retires.
I would love it.
I think if he wins this year, he'll be really close to that. But if he wins a 6th one, it's over. Like
He wins a 6th one with Bronny.
well, that would be pretty cool. No, he has 4. Bob, you want to do your prediction?
Yeah, for the finals, I got the Nets over the Suns.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I legitimately think the We Believe Warriors are back. They're gonna, I think, really think they're gonna beat the Jazz in the first round. It might take 7 games, but they can do it. Michael is high on the Jazz, but I really think they're the classic team that just is gonna fold in the playoffs. Yeah, there's a yes. Thank you. They're just the 3-point shooting is gonna fail them. Somebody's gonna lock up Joe Ingles and Jordan Clarkson. Next thing you know, Mitchell he's not the guy. I don't have faith in the Jazz, but I think the Suns will handle the Lakers. I think that'll take 7 games, but I think the Suns are a really complete team. They're a special group, and it took me a while to come around on them. I didn't think they were going to be all that good at the start of this year, but they've proved it. And in the East, yeah, I think it'll be just a chalk matchup at the end. Sixers Nets in the conference finals, and the Nets just have too much power. And I think they'll take care of the Suns pretty easily if that's the finals matchup too. Yeah,
I feel
won't
like
put the Chris Paul effect past the Suns making it out of the first round. But come on, finals.
they can do it.
I really think they can do it.
Booker
Honestly,
and Ayton are really good. Oh, go ahead.
No. I think they have they have like the top 8 of their rotation are all like positive players. If you look at their like real plus minus, so like they have a really well built roster and a nice cohesive team. My fear is just though if they get matched up with a big like Jokic or AD, how is DeAndre Ayton gonna hold up in his 3rd year, right? So I think I can see a lot of 6 fouls in 3 quarters.
Yeah.
But especially with Adam Silver like telling the refs to give AD all those calls.
That's facts.
But
Facts, hard facts.
The Lakers never get calls. LeBron never gets calls. He gets fouled every time.
Stop it.
Oh,
Stop it.
That's facts.
Stop
The
it.
refs hate
Okay.
LeBron and the Lakers. It's just
He
a
gets
fact.
fouled every time he goes to the rim. So,
Okay.
but as we learned, I mean, I thought we would have learned after last year that even if you have the best players 3 through 8, all that matters is if you have 1 and 2, and the Lakers have 1 and 2.
Well, I
So-
don't even think that. I think what you were saying about the whole issue of bigs, and that's why I think both your teams don't make it, is because neither team can stop the bigs. And this year, it's kind of the year where like the big is kind of back. Like there's a bunch of dominant bigs this year, and you're gonna have to play. You have to beat one of these dominant bigs to win the finals this year.
Big man.
Quick
renaissance,
question. Quick question. Who do you guys have as MVP right now?
Jokic.
I still think it's Jokic. Curry made it close, but I still think it's Jokic.
Jokic for sure.
Not going to.
Jokic.
Wow, let's hope the voting panel was unanimous the same way.
That'd be.
I just
Jokic-
think injuries wise, but like it has to be Jokic. I don't really see. I think you can't give it to someone who got the 8th seed. Like that one year Westbrook won it. He was a historic triple-double the whole year, and also he was the 6th seed. So you can maybe make an argument for that, but like having like possibly the 8th seed, you just really can't do that.
You guys don't think Embiid has any chance anymore? Because he was a front runner for a bit.
No,
No, I think just what Jokic had to do this year to get him the 3 seed is just like Herculean, and like it, especially when after Jamal went down, it was just like, wow, this is really just a one-man show up
They got
here.
better after Jamal Murray went down.
Yeah, exactly.
They got better. He's insane. He's a
I know
shooter.
a lot of the talk though should be about Michael Porter Jr.'s development this year. He's a 20-point scorer now, so he's gonna really help out. Again, it's gonna come down to if he play defense, but yeah, but yeah, he's been pretty good down the stretch.
Who do you got in the finals, Pat?
I will join Bob in his Suns, but we're gonna switch it up and put the Bucks. I think Giannis wins his first ring in 6. I didn't really keep up with basketball enough this year, and I'm just gonna join Bob with the Suns. Let's get it.
Give me a Giannis ring. I would love that, Pat.
that would be pretty good.
Could have
That's
had
what-
it in the Lakers.
I just want to see CP3 in the finals too. I have not I think
He deserves a ring.
yeah,
I would love it.
but also Giannis. I think just him again. I like what Omar mentioned about him, Budenholzer hopefully sticking with him, playing him at the 5, and they can run the East with that lineup. So I think they run the East, make it to the finals, and play a scrappy Suns team that
Scrappy.
2
very
seed.
scrappy.
The Suns are the real we believe.
Scrappy 7th seed Lakers. What? All right. Since we all kind of got our predictions, what's like one hot take you guys have for this year's?
Wait, did Josh predict? Did you put yours in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
copied his.
Yeah, he did. I was gonna say one hot take that like I honestly I thought we were gonna get more like Nets love on the Aggie Talk.
No,
I
sir. No,
Too
sir.
mainstream.
thought a lot of
No,
Nets-
sir. Well, you can't put together a super team and not expect them to go far into the playoffs.
I think
Yeah, I just think their matchup in the second round is really hard. But I think aside from that, what are like some hot takes you guys have? Maybe a team that will make it far or not make it as far as you think. Teams like that.
My hot take is that if the Nets make it far, it will be on the back of Blake Griffin. The big 3 can play well, the big 3 can play well. But if the defense isn't there and they're not shooting well, or like something else is going on, look for old man Blake to bring it all together.
the thing is
Blake
though,
Griffin deserves the ring.
if they play the Bucks, he's probably gonna have to be guarding Giannis, and I don't know if I like that for old
Can
man
handle it.
Blake.
Look to old man Blake to put Giannis in jail and have 45 and 12 put up on him.
I think my hot take.
Oh yeah.
If it's Lakers related, I don't want to hear it.
No,
Amen.
this is actually not Lakers related. This is a hot take, and you guys know how I feel about him. So this is gonna be a surprising take. But my take is gonna be that although I don't have the Clippers in the finals, Paul George is gonna be their best player of these playoffs.
I love it. Wow.
Good take.
It took 20 shoulder surgeries to get there, but I mean, he's finally there, I guess.
He's gonna finally make good on that Gatorade commercial, and he's gonna hit a game winner.
No,
Oh
no,
my
no.
gosh.
Oh my
He was
god,
just
he's never
asking.
hitting. He's never hitting a game winner in his life.
I
because
don't
of
know
that.
if I don't know if I'd go that far, but I think I just think he's been their best player, and Kawhi is kind of like, I don't know whether it's on purpose or something, but he's taking a step back. So I just think Paul George, this is his time to shine, and I think he's going to be their best.
Wasting too much.
Whenever he gets time to shine, he doesn't step up. And this is where he needs to step up.
Kind of jumping off that point, Omar, I think the Clippers are gonna make the Western Conference Finals, and I think they're gonna make a lot of people surprised. I think they're gonna surprise a lot of people, honestly, because I like the narrative around them is they're just not good and they're gonna blow it in the playoffs again. But like you said, Paul George has been really good this year, and I'm actually a believer in Kawhi. I think he's kind of been mailing it in. I think once it gets playoff time, he's going to start picking it up again. And I honestly like Ty Lue as a coach a lot better than Doc Rivers. And I think Rajon Rondo, like you said, Omar, good acquisition. And I don't know. I maybe I'm crazy. Everyone else thinks they're going to be bad. Everyone else is like saying they're going to lose. But I think the Clippers have a shot of getting to the Western Conference Finals.
I think they definitely. My big thing is my prediction is there's no upsets in the first round because last year there's a bunch and this year it's not going to happen. I think it's just going to be straight across the board. But
I wouldn't put it past the Clippers to drop to Dallas, to be honest.
yeah, but I don't.
If
I
PG doesn't show up, I wouldn't put it past them.
I think there'll be an interesting series, but I think that if the Clippers should win that series, and if they don't, that it's over. But I'm still on this thing where like stop saying it's gonna be surprise. Like the Clippers were like the shoot in last year to be winning the title, and then like now this year is like everyone's like, oh no. But I'm just so upset that like the Clippers, they're the one team I don't want to like do well. And I'm fine. None of my teams made it. Like I don't care who wins it this year, but the one team I don't want to win it is the Clippers.
Wait, just a clarification question. By upsets, do you mean like by like Vegas favorites or like seeding favorites? Because
Seeding favorites. I mean that means the Lakers lose.
no, okay. I'm gonna need to follow up with you and Bob on the Aggie Talk chat to make certain deals and certain arrangements for the first round. So I'll follow that up after.
You can always count me in for that. But do you think Vegas would favor the Lakers over the Suns in a 7-game series? I don't know if they would.
I think they would.
Yes, I think they would.
Well,
They probably would.
Vegas odds are primarily like what people bet. And I think if you give the Lakers like underdog odds, everyone is going to jump on that. So I just think, I mean, if you can get the Lakers as an underdog, I think that's an amazing bet. But I just don't think, that's why I don't think they will be.
Yeah, there's too much LA money going on the Lakers. The Vegas has to cover their losses, hedge their bets.
I think you'll like my bold prediction.
There's no Vegas.
All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it, Pat.
The Knicks will sweep the Hawks,
Ooh,
and then they'll take the Sixers to 7.
Oh, that's the perfect season. That's the best I could have asked for this year.
that's the perfect season.
That's the as a
Losing
Knicks
in the
fan.
second round.
Yeah, as a
Ouch.
it is a
Knicks
perfect.
fans love it. Absolutely.
You don't know the kind of pain I've lived through these past
Oh
many
yeah, like I had
years.
a fun time rooting for the Warriors for 17 years in my life.
Oh yeah, and then
They're
you got
dog shit.
a top 3 team of all time. I'm still stuck with Reggie Bullock and Alfred Payton starting, pal.
Hey, Bob, don't.
Y'all still got a 4 seed.
Yeah.
FCC
don't-
certified.
Tell Bob not to scoff at the Warriors at the Knicks making the second round because the Warriors aren't going to make it that far.
Ooh.
We believe. The real we believe. You still have the Warriors logo in your background there, buddy, on the shirt. We believe.
I need to
It's in his
edit that
blood. You
later.
can't resist.
Alrighty, any other hot takes you guys want to get off your chest before we start playing? I think the first playing game's on Tuesday, right?
Yeah. East playing games Tuesday, West on Wednesday.
Nice.
Yeah, West is on Wednesday. I don't know. I'm happy to playoff time's here. I love this time. The Clippers hate is just coming strictly from a standpoint of the memes on Twitter. If the Clippers lose in the first round, is going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So I just want to see that because I think that would just be funny.
And I mean, Luka has been playing like out of his mind towards the end of the year. And Dorian Finney-Smith, that's a hot take there too. He's been playing really good recently, like so much so that people are saying the Mavericks are better without Porzingis because you get more time of Dorian Finney-Smith. So
I was gonna say that's my hot take. I'm saying Clippers drop to Dallas round 1.
Hey,
It's going game 7 though.
I like it.
I like it.
No one would be upset. I feel like even Clippers fans would be okay with that because that would mean some movement would happen in the offseason for sure.
Oh, they got to do something. If they don't make it to the Western Conference Finals this year, they have to do something. I don't know if you can trade PG, but like who would you get in return? You know, like I don't know, but you have to do something. You can't just stay pat because I think Ibaka might leave too. He has an option, so he can also leave if he really wants to.
and Kawhi's heading to New York if they lose in the first round. Everyone knows that. Max.
All right, Omar. I've had enough.
Alrighty. I think that's gonna do it. Unless you guys have any final thoughts.
One last thing, final thought. I thought it was disgusting that teams are ducking the Lakers and they tanked today. Looking at you, Nuggets, Clippers, but the Lakers are going to win the championship and have the 21st pick in the draft. So we'll it's going to be that's the perfect season. That's better than I could have dreamed of. So
Warriors
Yeah.
win the championship and still have the 4th pick. It could happen.
Oh, and the T-Wolves actually won today, which gave them the 4th highest odds instead of the 3rd highest.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
the Timberwolves won a lot of games down the stretch. I don't know why, but
That's a
yeah,
king
I mean,
team.
I'm excited. hopefully we can meet again like during the playoffs, maybe during the second round or so. We can talk about it, but we can set that up soon.
Oh,
They're
definitely.
motivated by A-Rod buying them.
Yeah, I love it.
We can do another one a week from now, like after the plan or whatever.
I'm down. Yeah.
Yeah,
During the first round, something like that. Yeah.
sounds
Um,
good to me.
Cool.
My final thought is I saw this on my shelf when we were just talking, and I had to pull it out. So this is College Hoops 2K7.
That's good.
This was developed after the Kings last made the playoffs. That is JJ Redick in college on the cover.
Didn't get paid a dime for that
Those
either.
are the graphics. The Kings have not made the playoffs since before this game came out. So it's on a 360, the original 360. Let's make a change. Let's get a new coach on the bench.
I've seen 3
Like
championships
mods on
since
those
then.
games, they have like updated college rosters for like every year. You could even
Yeah.
put like the UC Davis Aggies from like the year they went to the tournament.
It's coming back though. It's coming back.
Yeah, they're bringing back the NCAA licensing. Let's go. Wait,
All
what?
I hope is that they pay them, and that's my final thought.
Exactly.
Pay your college athletes.
For whatever reason, I have the other 2007 version.
Adam Morrison, the legend.
Adam Morrison, let's go.
I love it.
Yeah.
My
Dagging.
final thought: the Bulls will be the 6th seed next year with Levine, Vucevic, and
Come
Patrick.
on.
Wilson.
6
Good
seed.
take.
Oh my
We
god.
Good
believe.
take.
6
They will. They had a rough year, but now they're going to be able to build chemistry, get ready for next year, and they're going to make an upset happen. I guarantee it.
The Bulls.
I mean, the way the Pacers and the Hornets slipped up, had Levine not gone out for those 2 weeks, you're talking about maybe they could have made it, because the Bulls came into the last weekend still with a chance. It was an outside chance, sure, but they like had Levine not missed all those games and Vucevic missed games too. I think they could have snuck into the playing game.
Don't remind me, Omar. Don't remind me, man.
All righty. It was wonderful talking with y'all. Had a lot of fun. Just talking about how we all want Alex Caruso to date our daughters, and
Just Utah.
yeah.
He does seem like just a genuinely good guy.
He does.
He's just a grind. He missed his sister's wedding to win an NBA championship. Come on.
And he did it though.
And he got the start in the ceiling game too. That's pretty amazing for a guy who was a Texas A&M, like their third best player, and then
Second
was
rounder.
he's just like in the G League. That's pretty cool. Got to give Alex Caruso. This is the Caruso props segment. Give the man his due.
I like Caruso.
Yeah. All righty. Well, you guys know how we like to end it.
Go Ags.
All right.
Go ahead.
Go Eggs.